And a good Friday morning to you. This VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook is also brought to us by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. It's a peach of a day, even if it's a bit of a refrigerated peach. Temperatures this morning well below the freezing mark, but they're rapidly climbing, and we're going to see temperatures top out probably in the upper 40s to low 50s, and maybe even a little bit warmer than that in a few spots. We have high pressure ridge at 500 millibars. This is really going to be in control, producing a surface boundary, surface area of higher pressure that's going to be located right overhead. So we have moderately active weather this period through Thursday with a few marginal concerns for utilities, suggesting really low impacts, if any, but utilities should need to monitor these. First of all, we have gradient wind gusts likely below thresholds on Sunday. That's the next closest thing. But an uptick, probably the strongest concern will be for southeasterly wind gusts along the usual spots, the western slopes of the Green Mountains. That'll be in the middle part of the week next week on Wednesday. And that'll be probably the highest concern. There's also some rainy, wet snow mix possible Wednesday. It looks fairly likely during the same day. So one of these kind of overlapping sort of wintry spring kind of snowfalls, mostly mixing with rain on the valley floors. There's also some potential for some minor short-lived thunderstorms that could happen on Easter Sunday. That's about the least of the worst, any concerns. And that'll be during the afternoon and evening hours, maybe. Best project weather days, certainly the rest of today, Friday, and again along about Tuesday of next week. So beautiful high pressure ridge today, and these are dew point temperatures, but if you look down here, you can see those dew points. They're basically in the 50s and 60s, and over in portions of the plains and lower Mississippi Valley, they're shooting up into the 60s, and some of these will make a run at us on Sunday, so that's going to be our next real shot of any significant weather. Utilities just monitor, but we might have some thunderstorm activity. Right now it's very limited in terms of what's being forecast. Okay, for the European 6 hourlies, high pressure and control, no issues. Big bubble, no trouble. And as we get into Saturday, most of the day looks to be dry. However, you can see that system in the eastern Great Lakes is going to shoot toward us. This is valid about 8 o'clock Saturday evening, and we'll start to see some of the shower activity move in, so it'll catch us the last part of the day. So just as that moves on in, looks like it's going to be really affecting us on Saturday night. Then on Sunday, this is part and parcel a warm front, as warm air is advecting in and overrunning slightly cooler air. So just to run that back here. So what's going to end up happening, that impulse works on through, it drops the most precipitation. Then we get into Sunday afternoon, and during this portion right here, this jump between 18Z and 0Z, this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, Easter Sunday, and you can see just some widely scattered, very light shower activity. There's a possibility of some widely scattered thunderstorms mixed in, or even isolated. It's going to be dependent on how warm we get and if there's any breaks in the clouds to allow for some sunshine. But then a cold front comes on through, not very well organized. Things are kind of mixed up here. So a little bit of a harder forecast here as we get into Sunday night and Monday. But that moves on through. And then we're starting to see just a little bit of a cold front, some wet snowflakes in the offing. Nothing major here, just mainly across northern tier areas. This is valid about 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So just beyond that, that's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And we get into some better weather conditions on Tuesday. Then a more potent system comes in at us. And this looks like first and foremost, we got a tightening pressure gradient. We got some potential for thunderstorms mixed in here, but that's probably not going to make it into Vermont. Good inflow coming in off the ocean. That means more than likely a fairly stable air mass, at least into Vermont. So as we watch this, this would be coming in at us on Tuesday night into Wednesday. and there's the possibility that we could see some wet snow accumulation. It's just cold enough in some spots that most of that moves out by Thursday. GFS Ensemble shows this coming in late Saturday. This is about 0Z, so about 8 o'clock or so. So this is Burlington now, and you can see in general a lot of agreement here for about maybe 2,500ths of an inch. So we're not talking about anything major at all here. Then looks like a little bit of a secondary thing. That's what was going to deliver some Monday morning wet snowfall. And then kind of linger into the afternoon. Then we have a good day on Tuesday, and looks like our next setup here is going to be this business here. And notice there's a couple of whiskers here indicating snow. Pretty limited amount. Again, this is for Burlington. Valley Bottom's probably not going to see this. East of the Green Mountains, a little bit of a different story. Again, it looks to be minor, under probably 5 inches, in most cases under a couple of inches. Weather Prediction Center gives us some pretty healthy amounts you can see here in the Ohio Valley and Midwest and into the lower Great Lakes, and some of that carries over. This is about your 1 inch amounts here. This is a ½ inch, so southern New England sees less, northern New England sort of in the zone, and especially right along the Adirondacks into just north of the Canadian border through the areas around Trois-Rivières and then back over toward Montreal, south of Quebec City. Okay, quick look at temperature. This is forecasted highs today around 55. Chilly overnight low, and then temperatures make a nice rise. This is Sunday, Easter Sunday afternoon. I'm thinking probably mid-70s is going to do it. European model is a little more aggressive. And then we cool back down with a cold front. Not quite as warm. Back to close to 32 degrees. And you can see the things kind of become a little bit more unhitched. So next 5 days, weighted afternoon temperatures were above normal by around looks like around 6 degrees, maybe 6, 7, 8 degrees. And then about 3 days later, we do cool off. And you can see we're neutral to a little bit below normal now. This says after that cold front that moves on through Sunday night into Monday. Okay, I mentioned the snowfall potentially along about Wednesday, and this is the European ensemble. You can see it's right here, and that actually goes into Thursday morning. You can see a little bit even more enhancement. And this has an area of low pressure that will basically start to work from the Great Lakes and then form a secondary low and then track locking in a lot of the colder air. So looks like a little bit of wet snow. Don't take your snow tires off just yet. If you already have, just stay low and stay in the Champlain Valley. If you have to negotiate any higher terrain, you could be slipping and sliding. And likely our strongest concern here for utilities for the middle part of next week is this gradient wind here. And it looks like it maxes out here. Now, looking at direction, it is a southeasterly. So along the western slopes of the Greens, primarily central and northern areas. Again, this is very far out in time for next Wednesday afternoon. So there'll be more updates accordingly from Will Murray. And we're going to end on this note. This is looking at snow depth right now, taken from the polar orbiter this morning. This is JP country, then over here at Mount Mansfield. This is the Worcester Range. This is about my location and Wuthering Heights. And continuing down the spine of the Green Mountains around Mad River Glen, Lincoln Peak, Mount Ellen. Further off to the south, not quite as much snow until you get down here into around the Killington area and then point south around Okemo, a little bit towards Stratton. And the interesting thing is down here in parts of southern Vermont, this seems to be where the wider geographical area for snowfall. They've been hammered pretty good. Of course, this is eastern part of Bennington County, western portions of Windham County. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.